Hi, my name is Andrew Hansung Park, and I'm a Chanel Fellow here at the MCA. I'm also an art historian and composer. Today I'm going to tell you about Urklavier, also known as Primeval piano in English, which is a sculpture by the Korean artist Namjoon Paik. When you see the work, it's placed horizontally in front of you. When you approach it, it's pretty apparent that it looks like a keyboard, so you kind of imagine what it would be like to either play it like a piano, or maybe if you're a percussionist, you can imagine getting some mallets out and striking the keys. Obviously, it doesn't physically make sound, but you're really imagining the sound of a piano. Maybe even more than that, you're imagining the sound of sticks and branches kind of cracking into each other, or maybe rustling in the wind outside. Paik is most known these days for video art, working with television monitors, things of that nature. For this work, though, he seems to be like kind of winding back the clock, going back in time. This work was dedicated to George Maciunas, who was the founder of Fluxus. And in addition to this Urklavier, this is also paired with a felt work by Joseph Beuys, and they're cased together in this box, and this is seen as a sort of like emblem of past Fluxus activities for them. This also shares the spirit of the sort of anarchic spirit that animated Fluxus, the idea that really anything can be art, that anybody can be an artist. Paik would call himself the world's most famous bad pianist, and I think that phrase really encapsulates what it means for something to be good or bad, right, in the simplest sense. This sort of subverts the idea of quality. It makes us question value, the value of skill, the value of technique. During my time in Chicago, I performed Paik's Violin with String, and for that, I dragged a violin around the atrium of the MCA, and I walked in between audience members. There was one point where I actually walked outside through the revolving doors, and it was a really enlightening, rewarding experience. It made me realize how some of these symbols of classical music, how some of these really precious instruments, at their most basic level, they're just like collections of materials, right? So just like the Urklavier, the violin is a collection of pieces of wood. One of the big ways that this work still feels important and interesting to me today is that it continues to redefine what music and art can be for the 21st century, right? So Paik, he was born in Korea. He studied really intensely classical music and composition in Japan, as well as in Germany, before coming to the US. And after all these years of difficult, intense training, he seemingly threw it all away to create works like this that really kind of undercut the very basis of the stuff he was trying to learn for years and years. And he seems to be saying to us that you don't need years and years of training, or you don't need certain credentials or a piano worth thousands and thousands of dollars in order to create music. This is a message about really welcoming everybody into the fold of art and music.